For that introduction, and greetings to you all, our colleagues. Thank you so much once again for finding time to come through and be part of this press briefing that we have organized here at the Center for Trade Policy and Development, as mentioned by our media and communications specialist. So this is a press briefing that we have called for. So we are basically terming this as an election note. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen and esteemed colleagues from the press, once again it is that time in the political cycle of Zambia when the electorate will be going to the polls to elect political leaders at distinct levels. Most interpreting adoptions have been completed by a number of political parties, and we've also observed that a number of political parties have actually already started giving information to the public with regards to candidates that they have adopted for the upcoming elections. So with the dissolution of Parliament today, cause and voices of appeal will soon be apparent, where politicians will be asking for mandates from the electorates. The Zambian and international airwaves will be filled with a frenzy of political messages. For some politicians, we are aware that it will be their first mandate, while others will be coming back to the Zambian people to seek to be re-elected either in the same or different capacities. We would also like to appeal to voters that as the politicians are coming in their various communities to seek to be elected or to be given an opportunity to lead the country, our electorate should actually engage and ask the right questions. So the Center for Trade Policy and Development notes that this year's elections will be unprecedented given the underlying macroeconomic challenges the country is facing, which has also been coupled with the COVID-19 pandemic. Politicians will have to propose to the electorate what they are capable of doing about the prevailing social, economic problems the country is facing. And from the Center for Trade Policy and Development, we are of the view that if politicians are to provide the correct suggestions or solutions, it needs to come from a good understanding in terms of what exactly the country is facing or what exactly the people are dealing with in the various communities where they'll be going to hold rallies. So with the public health concerns, it means that the dynamics of campaigning will also be very different from what we are accustomed to. If you look at 2016 and compare it to 2021, you would agree with us that the dynamics and the environment under which we are operating under is very different. It is our appeal from the Center for Trade Policy and Development that despite a slowdown in COVID-19 cases and gradual uptake of COVID-19 vaccines, adherence to public health requirements may prove a challenge given the nature of political rallies that draw crowds. And as a result, we still maintain that measures should be taken by all players to ensure that we safeguard not only those that are competing for public office, but the public that they'll be interacting with. Meanwhile, the Center for Trade Policy and Development would like to appeal to all the political parties to ensure that they tally the campaign messages to existing socio-economic challenges. Politicians should ensure that as they seek these social contracts with the electorate, they should speak to the practical or to practical solutions to the many challenges the country is currently grappling with. CTPD further appeals that as manifestos of political parties are being made, they should convey clear messages addressing the perceived and actual economic contradictions, such as 1. Public debt, 2. Downgrades in the credit rating due to failed debt repayment obligations, thirdly, high volatility of the kwacha, 4. High cost of servicing external public debt. We also have high inflation, which is leading to high cost of living, high fuel prices relative to incomes, high electricity tariffs, and consequently subdued economic activity. In addition, issues around poverty and inequality require practical solutions. Thus, CTPD urges the political fraternity to be forthright and practical in their provision of solutions to address the problems that we have highlighted in the above paragraph. We would like to urge all politicians to use evidence-based information to base their facts on, and not merely using rhetoric and impracticable development plans. Zambia is just 3 years shy to clocking 6 years, decades after independence, and 9 years from reaching the Vision 2030 targets. Yet the country still experiences serious economic challenges and grapples to attract high-quality political leadership. Political parties and their leadership should be ready to stay away from violence and ill practices that are against the spirit of One Zambia, One Nation. The Center for Trade Policy and Development has also noted with keen interest the number of young people, men and women, taking active interest in leadership roles in various political parties. I'm sure you might have also followed the reality show that we have been running, dubbed as the People's President, where we have quite ambitious young people that are highlighting some of the key social and economic challenges that this country has been facing. And from the Center for Trade Policy and Development, we are very delighted that there are quite a number of young people that are now actively offering themselves for public office. And our appeal to all the young people in politics is that they should not change colors once they are given an opportunity to govern or lead this country. It is our expectation that they should live up to the promises that they are making to the Zambian people, and they should not change colors to suit the environment. Young people should be advocates of issue-based politics that are violence-free. Young people should desist from being used as instruments of political violence, but rather be partners in successful electoral processes for the betterment of our country. Our appeal to the electorate is that free and fair elections cannot be achieved without citizens desisting from hate speech, tribal remarks, and violence. I'll repeat that again, which is an appeal to all the electorates. So from the Center for Trade Policy and Development, our appeal to all the electorate is that free and fair elections cannot be achieved without citizens desisting from hate speech, tribal remarks, and violence. Zambia is one country and belongs to all of us. Despite different political persuasions, civic responsibility demands that citizens reflect on coexisting in harmony, driven by the same underlying principles of humanity and camaraderie. As CTPD, we would like to strongly appeal to the electorates to use the hardships they face in their daily lives as a yardstick to measure the success of all the incumbent political leaders, and as for the opposition political parties, the citizens should use the yardstick that should be based on practical solutions, not just mere condemnation of the government of the day. So it is our expectation that as we are interacting with those that are aspiring for public leadership in terms of those that are seeking to be re-elected, our citizens should actually look at the challenges that they've been facing as a yardstick to measure if at all they would want to give them a chance. When it comes to those that are in the opposition, it should be based on practical solutions, not mere condemnation of the government of the day. What we need are practical solutions that can lead this country to a better place. Furthermore, this gauge can form the basis for engaging in conversations with politicians. Do not be enticed with short-term gifts. On this one, has been our observation that a number of political parties, both from the ruling and the opposition, have been already going into these communities and making donations, various donations, among which includes bicycles. So from the Center for Trade Policy and Development, we think that the public should not be enticed by such gifts, but they should demand for sustainable daily provisions post-election period through job creation, leveling of the playing field for small businesses to thrive. All voters are being encouraged not to vote based on regional preferences, but only credibility. There are many times we have observed that electorates vote for political parties and not the individual attributes or quality of the leader. This is a bad way of voting, as it has potential to create unbalanced composition in parliament and may also lead to having poor leadership. The Center for Trade Policy and Development would like to further appeal to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to work on the endemic and perennial election challenges. For instance, announcing elections beyond the scheduled and expected time. Such delays have led to loss of confidence and trust in the electoral process, resulting in voter apathy. Further, the Commission should be impartial in the whole process of the campaign period to ensure a credible, free and fair election. It is our considered view from the Center for Trade Policy and Development that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has been well equipped with requisite tools within their mandate to handle all manner of electoral operations. Finally, a concern from our end can be raised and with regards to the Electoral Process Amendment Bill, which has passed the third reading. This means that what remains is presidential consent. To this effect, the effect of this bill is that it has the potential to quieten the media process and its involvement more broadly. In essence, only the Electoral Commission of Zambia will be allowed to announce the election results. We feel that this is against the spirit of transparency and accountability in the electoral process, as it minimizes opportunities and space for triangulation of reporting. So colleagues from the media, this is our election note speaking to the forthcoming general elections, fully aware or cognizant of the fact that Parliament will be dissolved today, and following the dissolution of Parliament, a number of political parties will go flat out to engage with the public and make proposals upon which the electorate might give them a mandate. And with this, we open up for questions, clarifications, and any follow-ups.